Hi, I am Yuki, and today I will be your storyteller. Make yourself comfortable and we'll get right on it. Chapter 5. As he positioned his leg on the face of the guy on the ground, the other subordinate of the servant surrounded him. Then Yeon So-Woon told them that since they disturbed his golden eating time, then they have to entertain him, while thinking to himself that he had to be careful since it is dangerous to fight adult men with a body of a child. Following that, he rushed toward them and started attacking them one after the other, and they were helpless against him. Yeon So-Woon used his ghost step technique to evade their attacks and used the opportunity to incapacitate all of them, except for 3 adult men in which one of them knows a little bit of martial art. Realizing that he had little ki left, Yeon So-Woon decided to put down the leader who was the head servant. He then taunted the head servant into attacking him, which he was able to dodge, but not without a graze from the attack. Seeing that the head servant was able to draw blood from Yeon So-Woon, the other 2 adults rejoiced. But at that moment, Yeon So-Woon moved at an insane speed and attacked the head servant, realizing that their leader has been defeated. The other 2 adults bowed down to Yeon So-Woon and begged him not to attack them. As all these was happening, Yeon So-Woon did not know that someone was watching all that had happened. On getting to his room, Yeon So-Woon was thinking about how he could solve the problem of his insufficient kai. Then, at that moment, he heard a knock on his door, only for him to open the door and find that it was Cho Yeon-hee, the daughter of the Manjong clan leader, and her escort, Yeon So-Hwa, who came to visit him. Cho Yeon-hee went straight to the point and told him that she witnessed the fight between him and the head servant, so she want him to be part of the faction that she is going to create, and this faction would help her be the next clan leader. But Yeon So-Woon told her that he only learned some small trick. However, Cho Yeon-hee told him that since he was living at the clan due to her, the best he can do is to help her, and she assured him that he won't regret it. And once she became the clan leader, she would fulfill all his desire. Before she left, Cho Yeon-hee told Yeon So-Woon not to tell anybody about what they discussed, and he assured her that he won't. Chapter 6. Sometimes later, Yeon So-Woon told Steward Wang about how Cho Yeon-hee wishes to join the battle for the clan leader position, but Steward Wang replied that why was he telling him since he's neutral in the fight for the clan leader position. However, Yeon So-Woon told him that he was aware that the steward was secretly supporting the young master. Hearing this, Steward Wang asked Yeon So-Woon if he was planning on being a spy, and what does he want in exchange for information. Yeon So-Woon replied that if it benefits him, there's nothing he cannot do. While he thought to himself how since the last 2 years that he had saved Cho Yeon-hee, she had never came to thank him, and it was only when she needed him that she came for him. Yeon So-Woon then told Steward Wang that he only need herbs because he has been feeling weak lately. Meanwhile, he wanted to use the herbs for making elixir that will amplify his ki. Hearing Yeon So-Woon mention herb as the reward he wanted surprised the steward greatly, and he wondered what Yeon So-Woon was planning. After that day, he gave Steward Wang all the information he had gathered from Cho Yeon-hee, and he also began to use the elixir he produced from the herbs he got in exchange for the information, while also training his physical body and techniques. 3 years passed like this, and in the end, Cho Yeon-hee lost to the young master regarding the position of the clan leader, and she was sent out of the clan on the pretext of marriage, while Yeon So-Hwa, on the other hand, did not follow her, probably due to the conversation Yeon So-Woon had with her in the past that she should try and join the Murim Union. After all these, and it was 5 years since he joined the Manjong clan, Yeon So-Woon told Steward Wang that it was time for him to leave, but Steward Wang did not agree on allowing him leave. He told Yeon So-Woon that he planned on making him his successor, and that was why he has been paying him all this while. However, Yeon So-Woon told the steward that he planned on becoming a martial artist, so he had to leave. Hearing this, Steward Wang laughed at him and told him that if he planned on becoming a martial artist with the puny skills he had, that he should forget about it, that even an Holigan would defeat him. Then Yeon So-Woon told the steward that, why don't they make a bet that he should bring any person from the clan to fight against him, and if he loses to that person, he would do as Steward Wang wishes. Following this steward, Wang brought the next strongest person in the clan, apart from the clan leader, 10,000 Sword Brigade leader before Yeon So-Woon. Chapter 7. As the two faced each other for the match, Steward Wang stated the rule of the battle, which is you can either win by completely overpowering your opponent or making them forfeit the match. He then told 10,000 Sword not to kill Yeon So-Woon. However, Yeon So-Woon reminded Steward Wang not to forget his promise of giving him a year's worth of his salary if he wins, and Steward Wang also told him that if he loses, he cannot leave for the next 3 years. As the fight begins between the two, 10,000 Sword told Yeon So-Woon to make the first move, which Yeon So-Woon did. As Yeon So-Woon began his attack, 10,000 Sword realized that defeating Yeon So-Woon won't be easy, and this was due to the myriads of technique Yeon So-Woon was employing. 10,000 Sword then decided to use his full power to fight Yeon So-Woon. This also made Yeon So-Woon to turn more serious. As the battle progresses to a stalemate, Yeon So-Woon discovered that his opponent wanted to turn the battle in a battle of ki, which was disadvantageous to him. Following that, he executed his ghost step technique and kicked his opponent in the face, and he used the opportunity to slash his opponent in the stomach, which caused 10,000 Sword to become agitated, and as they clashed for the last time, Yeon So-Woon was able to make his opponent forfeit the match, making him the winner of the duel. After winning the match, Yeon So-Woon collected his reward, and at the city gate, he waited for the head servant to pass by, and he caused the head servant to fall. As the head servant was about to insult the person who fell him, he was interrupted by Yeon So-Woon, who exposed the fact that he was part of the Hao Society, but the head servant tried to deny it. Chapter 8. Yeon So-Woon thought about the Hao Society, which was an alliance formed by the weakest people in Murim. They are also an information group that works with the Beggars Sect, and since he met a disciple of the Hao Society, things are going smoothly then. The servant head then told him that he cannot become a client of the Hao Society just because he wants to. He must be willing to pay the price for the info, and his wages cannot be enough. Yeon So-Woon then whispered something to the head servant, telling him to relay to the higher-ups of the Hao Society that he knows something regarding the youngest disciple of the Hao Society leader. At the Radiant Moon House, Yeon So-Woon awaits the master of the Radiant Moon House, and it turns out that the person he was waiting for was a branch manager of the Hao Society. However, Yeon So-Woon was able to sense an higher-up of the Hao Society who planned on killing him secretly. Seeing that he has been exposed, a masked man dropped down from the ceiling and attacked Yeon So-Woon. Yeon So-Woon was able to dodge the attacks, and he realized that this man was powerful, meaning the masked man was part of the higher-ups. Chapter 9. As they were fighting, Yeon So-Woon told the man that he only wanted to become the Hao Society client, but the masked man told him to drop his sword and confess on how he knew about the secrets of the Hao Society. However, Yeon So-Woon told the man that he would only do that if he's allowed to negotiate with Hao Society on equal terms. This statement made the masked man angry, and he planned on finishing Yeon So-Woon in a strike. But Yeon So-Woon used that chance to attack the man and wound him, since the masked man has let down his guard in exchange for the all-out attack on Yeon So-Woon. Since he was defeated, the man asked Yeon So-Woon what he wanted, and Yeon So-Woon replied that he wanted information in exchange for the information he has for them. The man snared at him for wanting to give their organization information. However, Yeon So-Woon told him that he knows about how the Demonic Sect will soon make their move, and even the way to save the Hao Society's youngest disciple who is dying from an unknown disease. Hearing this, the man asked him if he really know how to save the youngest disciple, and Yeon So-Woon explained the source of the disease, which was from a book that a demonic sect gave to the youngest disciple, making him to be possessed. After this, the man gave Yeon So-Woon the symbol of How Society's client, and Yeon So-Woon requested a mission immediately, which was for them to investigate Dugu Wooji, the sect head of the Yellow Dragon Martial Hall, who has settled in Sichuan. The man left and told him he would be expecting the method to save the youngest disciple whenever he brings the information Yeon So-Woon wanted. Near Sichuan province, some merchant were attacked by a young madman who killed all of them. It was later revealed that the young man was just pretending to be insane. Chapter 10. Yeon So-Woon was seen in a carriage on the way to Sichuan province, reading information about Dugu Wooji, which was that Dugu Wooji is very strict in matters of teaching and that his martial arts are excellent. He also left a favorable impression on others due to his humble nature. Dugu Wooji was known as the Heavenly Fist because 7 years ago he eradicated one of the Black Path sects, the Yellow Cloud sect, all by himself. When Yeon So-Woo saw this, he remembered that Dugu Wooji was already known as the King of Fist by the time he left the demon cave and began his activities in the martial world. He also discovered that nothing else was revealed about Dugu Wooji other than the fact that he moved to Sichuan about 10 years ago. He did, however, read that additional information would be delivered later if obtained. Yeon So-Woo was perplexed as to why Dugu Wooji was acting as the instructor of a mere martial hall, but given that even the How Society couldn't figure out his track record, it appeared that someone was purposefully erasing his traces. However, he decided to find out for himself because he wanted to please the King of Fists in order to inherit the body art of white lighting. He overheard a conversation outside the carriage about the appearance of a demonic individual in Sichuan, and how the demonic individual is so powerful that he can appear and disappear, making capture difficult. They concluded that the demonic individual could be someone who had learned the demonic arts but hadn't neutralized the demonic properties. When Yeon So-Woo heard this statement, he wondered if it was the incident in which the elder of the hidden demon cave, Pa Seo-gun, the Yin murderous ghost demon, came to Sichuan for a mission but returned to the sect after receiving a serious injury, as the time correlated together, leading him to conclude that the situation does not pertain to him. Not long after, he arrived at the Yellow Dragon Martial Hall and informed the guards that he wished to enter the Yellow Dragon Martial Hall, to which they replied that the headmaster would oversee the admittance himself because it was not the period for recruiting disciples and the test would be extremely difficult, to which Yeon So-Woo agreed and was led to the martial hall while waiting for the headmaster. He was surprised to see Dugu Wooji appear while he was waiting because he had not noticed his presence. He had not expected to meet Dugu Wooji, who informed him that he was there in place of the headmaster, who was currently absent. Yeon So-Woo asked Dugu Wooji to take him in as his disciple that he want to learn the body art of white lighting. When Dugu Wooji heard this, his aura changed immediately, asking Yeon So-Woo to explain himself without any lies if he wanted to preserve his life. Chapter 11. When Yeon So-Woo saw Dugu Woo lighting Ji's key, he was taken aback because he realized Dugu Wooji had already reached the absolute level of King of Fist. However, he explained to Dugu Wooji that he learned about the information from the How Society. When Dugu Wooji heard this, he told Yeon So-Woo that he couldn't teach him the technique and warned him that if he valued his life, he shouldn't tell anyone about the Heavenly Lighting School's information. Dugu Wooji then told him that he could not teach him in the Yellow Dragon Martial Hall and left. However, after Dugu Wooji left him, Yeon So-Woo met with the headmaster and gained his favor. The headmaster then asked Dugu Wooji to be Yeon So instructor, Woo's, which he reluctantly accepted. Few days later, Yeon So-Woo was seen training very hard while other disciples had left because he was newly admitted. Dugu Wooji asked him to leave and said he wouldn't question him about it, but Yeon So-Woo refused, forcing Dugu Wooji to train him until the martial school hall closed, forcing Dugu Wooji to go home late complaining about how stubborn Yeon So-Woo is. When Dugu Wooji arrived home, he saw Yeon So-Woo with his wife and son, which surprised him. He asked him what he was doing at his house, but his wife, Seo Moon-hae, replied that Yeon So-Woo helped her when she went out to get some groceries, and because he is a good boy, she invited him over for dinner. When Dugu Wooji heard this, he asked Yeon So-Woo about his intentions in telepathy, to which he replied that he only helped his wife, to which Dugu Wooji replied that they would meet tomorrow. The next day, Yeon So-Woo offered to look after Sung, who was hoping to gain the favor of Dugu Wooji by helping his family, son of Dugu Wooji, which made Seo Moon-hae grateful that Yeon So-Woo had already helped her with grocery shopping on a daily basis. While Yeon So-Woo and Sung were walking through the market, Yeon So-Woo noticed the presence of demonic ki and turned around to see a demonic individual staring at him. Chapter 12. When Yeon So-Woo saw the demonic individual, he realized that the person was an elite demonic individual, possibly a member of the evil ghost unit led by the Yin murderous ghost demon. However, he was perplexed as to why the demonic individual was looking at him. At that moment, 2 Chincheng Taoist priests came over as they chased after the demonic individual, who fled as soon as he saw them. Yeon So-Woo wondered why the demonic individual was acting like a lunatic, as he would have wanted to capture him to find out why. But Sung was with him, so he couldn't. The demonic individual was seen reporting back to the Yin murderous ghost demon, the elder of the myriad demon palace, that he had seen the heavenly Yin body due to his vision skill. When the Yin murderous ghost demon heard this, he was relieved that he would be leaving Sichuan soon, and asked the demonic individual where the heavenly Yin body was located. Yeon So-Woo was seen walking in the streets, wondering when Dugu Wooji would accept him. At that moment, Seok Moon-hae ran over crying, saying that Sung had been kidnapped and that Sung's body is weak, making it dangerous for him to be out for long, despite the fact that he has the heavenly Yin body constitution. When Yeon So-Woo heard this statement, he had an idea and asked Seok Moon-hae to inform Dugu Wooji that the Demonic Sect had kidnapped Sung. Yeon So-Woo was seen dashing through the forest in search of Sung, believing that the Yin murderous ghost demon wanted to use Sung to gain the favor of his past disciple brother, who was the first disciple of the heavenly demon, the heavenly evil king, Wee Su-ak, who learned a flame technique of extreme technique that required the life force of the heavenly Yin body to negate the life-threatening Yang effect. He realized that the reason Dugu Wooji emerged from seclusion and entered the Murim was to seek vengeance for his son's death. Yeon So-Woo hoped he wouldn't be late in catching up with them because he knew Sichuan so well. The Yin murderous ghost demon was seen in a carriage with Sung, who was unconscious, and his subordinates as they made their way out of Sichuan at that time, but they were stopped by a Taoist priest of Chincheng who said he knew they were related to the demonic madman. When the Yin murderous ghost demon learned of this, he ordered his subordinates to kill the Chincheng priest, to which the subordinates attacked, but at that moment, Yeon So-Woo appeared and took Sung from the carriage. Chapter 13. The leader of the evil ghost unit asked Yeon So-Woo who he was, but Yeon So-Woo told him that if they wanted to live, they should leave. The Yin murderous ghost demon requested that the leader bring Yeon So-Woo to him, who attacked Yeon So-Woo, but Yeon So-Woo knew he couldn't face him with Sung in his hands, so he dodged and dashed over to the Chincheng priest, as he attacked the other evil ghost unit members to give the priest the opportunity to escape with Sung. Yeon So-Woo asked the priest to take Sung away from there, that he will hold the evil ghost unit off for the main time. The priest, however, promised to bring reinforcement when he reached his sect. When the Yin murderous ghost demon saw this, he told his subordinates to go after the priest and that he would deal with Yeon So-Woo himself, to which they immediately left. Yeon So-Woo told him that he is going to regret his life for what he had done, but the Yin murderous ghost demon said that Yeon So-Woo is bluffing, and then he charged at Yeon So-Woo, who only dodged and blocked his attacks. After a while, he was able to inflict a small injury on the yin murderous ghost demon's face, which made him angry and punched an all-out attack at Yeon So-Woon, who got smashed into the carriage. When Yeon So-Woon asked him if he would go after his men because they hadn't returned all this time, the yin murderous ghost demon laughed and said that his men were already waiting in the direction the Taoist priest ran. Chapter 14. When Yeon So-Woon heard this, he remembered that the evil ghost unit has 24 members, but he didn't realize that the yin murderous ghost demon had predicted this already. Recognizing that he would have to face the yin murderous ghost demon alone, including the leader of the evil ghost unit members who was standing by, he decided not to give up and stood against the yin murderous ghost demon. The Taoist priest of Chin-Chung was seen as he was surrounded by over 20 evil ghost unit members. The demonic individual walked over and asked him to hand over Sung, but he tried to stall for time, which the evil ghost unit members didn't allow him. As they were about to attack him, he thought about how he wasn't able to keep his words to Yeon So-Woon, who entrusted Sung to his hands as he asked for the Buddha's forgiveness as he was incompetent. However, Dugu Wuji appeared in front of the Taoist priest of Chin-Chung, who was holding his son, killing the demonic individual who attacked the priest and his son, saying that it would have been really bad if he had arrived late, and then attacking and killing the other evil ghost unit members who were also present. When the priest saw how Dugu Wuji killed over 20 evil ghost unit members, he asked for his name, to which Dugu Wuji replied that he couldn't, and that he would repay the Chin-Chung sect for saving his son, then instructed the Taoist priest to take his son somewhere safe, that he had to save his disciple. Chapter 15. Yeon So-Woon was seen fighting the yin murderous ghost demon, using his moon sword techniques to impede the yin murderous ghost demon so that he could hit him, but his attack was blocked. At that moment, the yin murderous ghost demon flashed and appeared in front of him, jabbing Yeon So-Woon with an elbow strike, causing Yeon So-Woon to spit blood as he was smashed into the wall of a cliff around. As Yeon So-Woon was severely injured, he decided to avoid a battle of strength with the yin murderous ghost demon. As the yin murderous ghost demon attempted to punch Yeon So-Woon so he could kill him, Yeon So-Woon flashed and dodged him. The yin murderous ghost demon became enraged when he saw Yeon So-Woon running around dodging his attacks, which caused him to lose his cool. The evil ghost unit leader decided to intervene because his job was to stop the rampage of the yin murderous ghost demon. He slashed his sword at Yeon So-Woon, who was severely injured. When the yin murderous ghost demon saw this, he was enraged because his unit leader intervened in his fight. He then decided to kill Yeon So-Woon, but at that moment, Dugu Wuji appeared and smashed his leg at the unit leader, killing him in the process. When the yin murderous ghost demon saw this, he was so overwhelmed that he couldn't move his fingers from the terrifying pressure radiating from Dugu Wuji. He knew he cannot face such a powerful person, so he turned to take Yeon So-Woon hostage for his own safety. Seeing this, Yeon So-Woon felt pity on him, thinking that the yin murderous ghost demon had lost his cool by turning his back on Dugu Wuji. Chapter 16. Yeon So-Woon awoke to find himself on a bed with his wounds heavily bandaged. Not long after, Seok Moonhye came in and walked over to his bed, and then held his hand as she thanked him for saving his son. Then Dugu Wuji came in and thanked him for saving his son. He then asked Yeon So-Woon if he wanted anything that he will do it with the exception of the body art of white lighting. But Yeon So-Woon said that is what he wanted, to which Dugu Wuji refused. Yeon So-Woon then asked him the reason why, which made Dugu Wuji to use his key to create a sound barrier around them. Then Dugu Wuji explained to him that the reason he can't teach him the body art of white lighting is because only those with severed veins can learn it, and if a normal person learned it, he would explode. However, severed veins are extremely rare, and Dugu Wuji had traveled far and wide and couldn't see one. He even tried teaching some orphans because there are some ways in which normal people can learn it, but every child was dead because of destructive properties of the white lighting key. which led him to decide that he would rather stop practicing the legacy of white lighting body art than kill innocent people. However, Yeon So-Woo insisted on learning it, and in the end, Dugu Wooji had to give in. Chapter 17. Yeon So-Woo sat down in crossed legs. Dugu Wooji also did the same behind him as well. He then started to imbue his ki into Yeon So-Woo and told him to follow and learn how to control it. Dugu Wooji then asked him to concentrate on the ki. After a while, the density of the ki increased, which made Yeon So-Woo to almost lost his concentration. Seeing this, Dugu Wooji urged him to persist, that it is the final phase. After some time, the process was completed. Yeon So-Woo told him that he looked forward to his guidance, addressing him as master, after Dugu Wooji saw that he had survived the procedure and was overjoyed. The uneven ki distribution, which made Yeon So-Woo's and ki worse, prompted him to ask his Dugu Wooji for advice. Yeon So-Woo was shocked when Dugu Wooji said that he would need to complete a full sexagesimal cycle in order to increase the effectiveness of his ki. In response to his question about how he had developed his ki, Dugu Wooji gave him an elixir pill and said that he had received it from the great master of Yongwoon when he was younger. Chapter 18. Yeon So-Woo was grateful to his master when he learned that the elixir pill is worth half of the accumulated ki from the sexagesimal cycle. However, when his master informed him that he doesn't intend to open the Heavenly Lighting School, Yeon So-Woo responded that he only wished to grow stronger and doesn't intend to pass the legacy on. The two of them were spotted in the woods. Yeon So-Woo trained until nightfall before returning home with his master for dinner. His master had taught him the Thunder Fist and the floating body technique, which he intended to use in place of the 1,000 Asura-minded hands and the ghost step technique. In order to begin using his Kai, Yeon So-Woo must first train his body and increase his stamina. After Yeon So-Woo was observed eating, the Hao Society sent him a note instructing him to meet them in the northern slums of the capital 2 days later. Yeon So-Woo questioned the Hao Society's decision to contact him 3 months later and worried that they might turn against him after he helped their youngest disciple, who was experiencing soul possession. Nevertheless, he made his own travel arrangements and arrived at the location. When he arrived at the room he was told to go to, one of the guards there attacked him and claimed that they had been ambushed en route, that only Yeon So-Woo knew where they were going and what they were doing, and that they knew he was affiliated with the Demonic Sect, because otherwise he wouldn't have known how to treat soul possession since the Demonic Sect had caused it in the first place. Yeon So-Woo called out to his master, who answered him by descending from the ceiling with a full-blown aura that caused the Hao Society guards to tremble. He asked his master to only suppress the guards after seeing how things had turned out. Chapter 19. Except for the patient, the Hao Society guards were prevented from attacking by Dugu Wooji, pressing on their acupoints, as Yeon So-Woo asked his master to neutralize them without killing them. After neutralizing them all, Yeon So-Woo began treating the patient by asking her to follow the flow of his ki as he placed his hands on her back. The woman's body began to release toxins after he had finished the treatment, which he cleaned right away. As he was doing so, he noticed that the woman had a mole on her collarbone and a scar on one of her ribs. He then gave the guardsmen the order to wait for him to give the time and place of their next meeting, where they would treat their patient, before departing. He thanked his master for helping him there, as things might have gotten worse if he had been on his own on the way back. However, he asked his master why he had not questioned him about his involvement with the Demon Sect, to which his master replied that he trusted and believed him that they should hurry because he was famished. But Yeon So-Woo planned to tell his master about his past life someday. Chapter 20. After 2 years of constructing his foundation, his master told him that he could use the elixir pill, which he immediately did. He sat down and comprehended the energy for a while. Then he used his ki to generate lighting and smashed a large hole in the wall to test his strength, and he thanked his master for his guidance, who told him that they needed to go to the Sichuan Tang clan when he finished absorbing the remaining energy from the pill. As he was returning, he noticed someone following him, which he later discovered was the young lady of the Hao Society whom he had treated, who had now completely recovered. The lady then told him that Dugu Wuji had not allowed them to pass across their message and gratitude to Yeon So-Woon until now, and then apologized and thanked Yeon So-Woon for treating her, and that they should meet at the Heavenly Palace in 2 days' time that the Hao Society wanted to show him. Chapter 21. When Yeon So-Woon arrived at the Heavenly Peace House, he was greeted by the Heavenly Maiden of the Heavenly Peace House, Park Hae-won, which drew many people's attention because Park Hae-won is popular in the area. But Yeon So-Woon doesn't like attracting attention to himself because he doesn't want to expose his master. So when he got to the room he was directed to, he met the young lady he treated who introduced herself as Cheon Ga-ryong, who apologized for the last incident and that she is grateful to Yeon So-Woon for saving her life. She then told Yeon So-Woon that the leader of the Hao Society wanted to compensate him for what he had done for them by assigning her to be his manager. But Yeon So-Woon didn't react to the news, which made Cheon Ga-ryong frown, explained that it is a big honor to him as he can get most information from her, but he wondered why the leader of the Hao Society assigned their disciple to him, but he, however, agreed to it. 6 days after his meeting with Cheon Ga-ryong, Yeon So-Woon was seen in the training grounds of the Yellow Dragon Martial Hall. He had heard that his master had accepted another disciple, which he was unaware of, but he saw Cheon Ga-ryong call out to him, saying, "Disciple brother." Chapter 22. Yeon So-Woon learned from Cheon Ga-ryong that his master decided to take her in because she introduced herself as his manager, despite her appearance. Cheon Ga-ryong requested that Yeon So-Woon spar with him because he was curious about the skill of the Hao Society's youngest disciple, as well as his true strength. As they began fighting, Cheon Ga-ryong realized that she couldn't hit Yeon So-Woon, so she decided to attack Yeon So-Woon, who countered and broke her sword with his moonsword techniques. Cheon Ga-ryong was surprised to be defeated by Yeon So-Woon, so she invited Yeon So-Woon to compete in the Dragon Phoenix martial arts tournament. As Yeon So-Woon was walking to his master's house for dinner, he noticed Cheon Ga-ryong following him, asking about the identity of Dugu Wuji, but Yeon So-Woon did not respond. Dugu Wuji was forced to relocate his family to Mount Chinchang because the Heavenly Evil King will continue to search for his son with the Heavenly Yin body constitution. When they arrived, they sat down for the meal, but Dugu Wuji said he wanted to bring some alcohol, so Yeon So-Woon followed him. When Yeon So-Woon noticed his master's expression, he told him that he had a housewarming gift for him. He later met Cheon Ga-ryong to relay his message to the Hwayang merchant group. As a price for his message, he told her that their son is also suffering from soul possession caused by the Demonic Sect. Chapter 23. Yeon So-Woon intended to give his master a means of countering Sung's Heavenly Yin body constitution, which is the scarlet flames that the Hwayang merchant group leader's son possesses. After some time, Cheon Ga-ryong approached Yeon So-Woon and asked for his assistance in rescuing Park Jong-won, who had been kidnapped by an expert from the order known as Venomous Snake Sword. They later split up in order to find Park Jong-won more quickly. When Yeon So-Woon arrived at the location where Park Jong-won was being held, the venomous sword snake attacked immediately. Chapter 24. Yeon So-Woon then clashed with the venomous snake sword. After a while of fighting, he was able to subdue the venomous snake sword. He then recovered an emblem which is a symbol of the evil ghost unit. He then tortured and asked the venomous snake sword where he got it from, who replied that he got it from the Seok clan leader. Cheon Ga-ryong arrived as well. Park Jong-won thanked Yeon So-Woon for saving her, to which he replied that the Hao Society owe him, and left. Chapter 25. Yeon So-Woon skillfully infiltrated and made his way into the heavily guarded Seok clan territory. He encountered several guards along the way, but his expert fighting skills allowed him to eliminate them without any issue. However, his mission was not without its challenges, as he soon found himself face-to-face with the Seok Sword Brigade leader. The leader was determined to stop Yeon So-Woon in his tracks and buy time for the Seok clan's leader, Seok So-Gun, to escape. Despite the leader's best efforts, Yeon So-Woon was able to defeat him and continue on his mission. Yeon So-Woon eventually caught up with Seok So-Gun, who he knew was behind the kidnapping of the Heavenly Maiden of the How Society. In order to get the information he needed, Yeon So-Woon resorted to torture. He demanded to know why Seok So-Gun had ordered the venomous snake sword to carry out the kidnapping. Seok So-Gun denied any involvement and claimed that it was actually the evil ghost unit leader, who was known as the Yin murderous ghost demon, who was responsible for the heinous act. We will continue this story soon. In the meanwhile, you can choose from this exciting stories. See you there!